folks, video blog update. Just wanted to quickly give everyone who's interested a walk around, show you what the property's looking right now, and take you on a quick look at the greenhouse and show you some of the stuff we've done with it and where we're going. So it's a really nice day today. Full moon last night. You can hear the rooster going. Everything's going green finally. We've had beginning of the month we had literally had 3 feet of snow covering our garden, which has made everything. We're about 3 weeks growing season behind everybody else, just because of the raw volume of snow that hadn't melted off the ground. So that's posed some interesting challenges, but summer has arrived. Today's almost 20 degrees, 18 to 20 Celsius right now, light wind, really nice. So yeah, let's go for a quick walk. So here's our flock. As you can tell, they love the camera, so they can see I'm standing out here, so naturally they've got to come look too. We've got a bunch more actually. We're doing meat birds this year as well as last year. These are all heritage breeds that we picked up. And this year the plan is that we're going to go with a selection of some new heritage breeds as well as 25 what they call CXs or Cornish cross, and that's a pure meat bird, with the idea that with a little bit of time and investment on our part, we'll basically have enough meat in the freezer to make sure we've got a full chicken dinner every other week. So the run, you can see we've got hay down because of the raw volume of water we had on the ground. This was a bit of a mud bin, so we used some of the hay bales that we had insulated the bottom of the coop with to hay the whole thing down, take the water up out of the ground. It's gone a long way towards making the run a whole lot more pleasant for the chickens. That's the coop you can see there. Henrietta, one of our little chickens, heading up the ramp and into the inside. She just heard her name, so she's looking at me. The coop is raised about 18 inches off the ground on 2 cinder blocks. Well, that allows them plenty of shade space to go underneath, dust bath and everything else. So it gives you an idea roughly what the whole thing looks like. In the foreground here, the bin right there is actually full of clover. So what happens is clover, of course, is a legume. It's a type of bean. Lots of protein, lots of organic protein. So what happens is that as the clover grows up, the chickens can kind of reach down through the metal covering on it and pick at some of the choicer bits, but they can't ever kill it. So that allows a constant source of organic greens, organic proteins. So that's the coop. Alright, and this thing here in the foreground is our chicken tractor. It's going to get renovated. Last year we were using it for warming the flock up and letting them get used to being in the big outdoors before we got the coop built. This year it's going to be disassembled to parts and used as a larger version of a tractor for the meat birds. So we'll be able to move them around the whole property, and they'll be able to eat very, very well off of the interesting mixture of grasses and clovers and herbs that we have in our lawn. We've got a small... There goes one of the roosters again. We've got an interesting selection of trees. That is we call our Franken tree. It's 5 different apple trees grafted onto a single. So that'll be interesting. Lots of buds. Over here we've got a plum tree. I think that's the plum, and then back here, I think this one here is a peach. We're planning on adding a few more, seeing how it goes, and as you can see, we've got a whole bunch of tulips and things that have come up, just spot planted around the lawn just to give a little bit of color and interest. So now, I'm going to take you and we'll go take a look at the greenhouse itself. So quick stop on the way to the greenhouse. Just wanted to show you, this is the back of the coop. What you're looking at is our rain collection system. So the green hose you can see just coming off the bottom spigot there goes to a watering system in the front of the coop. So the chickens have always got fresh water. We collect, for every 2 centimeters of rain, 20 mils, we will basically fill those barrels, is what we get off the roof. So that winds up a very good way of ensuring that the chickens have always got good clean water. Walk around the front and give you a quick explanation. So each barrel down here has got a uniseal, which goes into a 2-inch pipe, a reducer to a 1.5-inch pipe. We had tried 1.5 last year and just used silicone, but we found the silicone failed. It was just too easy. Couldn't get a clean seal. So elbow, and then we've got 2 taps. This one is permanently rigged up to chicken water. This is just for utility work if you want to fill a bucket to pour water somewhere else. And across the top, we've got a 1.5-inch tube that is a balanced pipe so the air moves back and forth. Rain comes in over here, there's a hole cut in the top, into the barrel, floods, both barrels come up at the same level, and this tube allows air to move back and forth so that both barrels, we don't raise pressure. But with about a 4-foot pressure head by the time these barrels are full, the chicken water has always got plenty of water, a couple of pecks, and they get a little shower, so they like that. So the greenhouse backs onto the garden. You can see we've got it all turned over. The green fencing in the foreground is a snow fence that we're using as a chicken container. The idea is that we let the chickens in here. That's actually what this shade device is. That gives them some shade during the day while they're in the garden. So while my wife Christine is tilling up the garden, turning stuff over, the chickens are in there happily rummaging, eating weeds, getting rid of all the bugs that we'd rather not them have, that sort of thing, and does a great job of cleaning the whole place up. So this is the greenhouse as we have it now. Let's see if I can't tilt this. No, not really. There we go. So it's a modified hoop and square. So what we've done is used 13-foot sections of conduit, that's a 10-foot and a 3-foot, ended together to form an arc across the top, and otherwise it's 4x4s and 2x6s because it's built from pallet wood. That's allowed us to build this for essentially free. The windows that you see on the side, right about there, are all storm windows that we got from a friend as they were redoing part of their house. They no longer needed them. And I've got another set of glass that's going to go up in this area here where you see this level of plastic. We're going to cut most of that out. That's temporary, and that's going to be glass as well. So let's take you for a round or take a look. So this is the front end of the greenhouse area. The entryway there is about 4 feet, just exactly the right size to be able to get our lawnmower through. We got a ride on, so if we want, we can move the trailer or the tractor in here. Over on the left side here, you can see there's a bunch of brickwork and stuff and a barrel. That is for eventually for the rocket stove that's going to go in here. The idea is that during the winter we'll be burning scrap wood to keep the interior temperature well above freezing so that we can run the greenhouse year-round. So let's go in a little bit further and take a look. I'll show you a few things about the construction. Alright, I don't know if you can see that, but the inside temperature here is 25 degrees. The outside air temperature right now is only about 18. So up in this part of the greenhouse we've already accumulated several degrees, so that's working okay. That's the back of the chicken coop you're looking at right there. The reason that that's covered over is because originally we didn't have a roof on this structure yet over the winter, and so that protects the laying boxes. So the hens go in there, and that's where they lay eggs. The back of that, which you can't see under the green, is a set of doors so that during once this place is finished, even in the middle of winter, you'll be able to come here and collect eggs just by opening the doors, and this part will keep the back of the coop much warmer. It was kind of chilly over the winter. So over here you can see the way this thing is put together. The short version is that it's a piece of 2x6. I'll get this board out of the way. what you've got here is a piece of 2x6, runs from here to here, and then a pair of 4x4s that are nailed into it. Another 4x4 which is nailed across to form a shape like that. That gives us a solid footing. And then we've got a waste board that goes across. And what that does is creates a whole bunch of modules. So we built each of these pieces one piece at a time. And then we were able to move these into position, lean them up, nail them together. Because each one of these boards overlaps 50%. So when this goes up, we pull the second piece up, we attach these boards, we attach the boards down the bottom, the whole thing locks together. And that allowed us to stand the walls up with fairly little real hard work. Up at the top here, you can see what we did is we stabilized the whole thing using another 2x6. That's brand new wood, which we went and bought. And then these cross beams that run the whole width of the way. They're 10 feet, and then they're padded. Oops, sorry, and hooked onto the side there so that everything is good and fixed in tight. You can see how we've done that. So every 4 feet, we've got one of these cross spacers. And then if you look up, you can see that that's one of the pieces of conduit there. Gray regular conduit. They're not too expensive, a couple of dollars each. And then, so we've got those that go the whole way over the... And at the top of each one of these posts, we've got a hole drilled in at a 45-degree angle, and the conduit gets sunk into it. Then what we've got over that is snow fence, which you can see you can see we've overlapped about 15 centimeters, 6 inches in several places. It's zap strapped to itself, and then zap strapped onto the ribs, which gives a very rigid structure. It stiffens the whole thing up very nicely. And then we've got 2 layers of 6mm plastic, 3 layers, my apologies. 3 layers of 6mm plastic over top of it to provide thermal barrier during the winter and diffusion during the summer. Greenhouses work too well during the summer, and so the mistake you can get into very easily is letting too much light in during the summer, and so they'll get really hot and start cooking everything inside. So that's the rough construction of the greenhouse. You can see behind me here I've got a few plants. I picked these trays up. I got 2 of them. I managed to pick those up for I think $7 for the pair at a flea market last summer. We do every year. They do something here on Prince Edward Island called the 70-mile yard sale, and it's essentially everyone who's interested registers in, chips in a little bit of money for advertising, and it's one weekend. It's Saturday and Sunday. It's a 70-mile stretch of highway, and everybody living on it, if they got stuff, goes to the curb, and they run a yard sale collectively. You just drive along looking for gold, and you can come up with some really great finds that way. So that's where I got this. I've got 2 I got a second one. It's up in the rafters for storage right now. That's Foghorn. We've got 2 roosters. There's Foghorn and then there's Denzel. Foghorn likes to compete with me, so he's a little loud when I'm talking. So like I say, we've got 2 of these. They're great. So I've got, let's see here. That's Aristotle basil, which is kind of nice. Over here we've got Bergarten sage, and these are tomatoes. So that's the first thing going in over here, and we'll start this. These are eventually going to go into my my indoor aquaponics, but I just wanted to get some sunlight to them and just see how well things were going to work. How well things were going to work here in the greenhouse. So I've just got them sitting out here. They're in coconut pots, coconut fiber, and then that's sitting in the tray, and I can just water into the tray, and the fiber will absorb the water and keep them doing okay. So the next thing you do for the greenhouse is on the wall over here, put up the second row of glass. I've got more of these storm windows. I'll show you that. So I've got a bunch more storm windows here. You can see various sizes, and those are going to go up here across this section, and the idea is that I'm going to start at this corner down here and then work my way going backwards over to this corner, Because eventually what happens is this corner there's going to be a door that goes in there, so that's going to require a little bit of renovation to get this done. But for now, the objective is to get this closed up enough that the glass is, up out of the way, and we can start seeing what kind of inside temperatures we generate, and then I can start worrying about things like cooling. So that's a quick walkthrough of the garden and the greenhouse, the chicken run from the outside. As things progress, the idea is my lake-in-a-box project, and I'll talk about that in a separate video, is going to go into the area directly behind where the camera is, so back essentially in the corner where I was showing you where the glass was going to be starting. Actually, there's some discussion there. I'm starting to think that because of the right way to do it. The glass side on the greenhouse is south-facing, so I'm starting to think the smart answer is actually going to be to put the lake-in-a-box system, which is my for-sale aquaponics kit that I will be developing, and I'll probably talk, like I say, more about that in an upcoming video. But it may go on the north side because the grow bed is actually over the water and fish, so that means it's up a little bit. It'll be okay if it's up off the ground, so that may be the route I go there. A couple things that are going to wind up getting done further in here is we've got to convert the pile of parts into a working rocket stove and get that working, preferably long before September, so I'll probably work on that over the summer. That's going to require trenching about a 15 centimeter deep trench, about 30 centimeters wide, that's 6 inches by a foot, down one side of the interior of the greenhouse or the other to bury the exhaust pipe. The idea is that we'll use the outgoing exhaust off of the, which is still about 300 Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius, to heat the earth in the greenhouse, and that will be a secondary heating system. The primary heating is that we're going to put a copper coil in the inside the barrel flue, with the idea that we will be directly heating a water storage battery and directly heating and using that via convection to heat a coil of PEX pipe that will be in the aquaponics system, so that we'll be able to keep water temperatures above zero over the course of the winter, and so we'll be able to keep growing during the day and keep the water from icing up at night. And so the plan is to use... Thank you, Foghorn. And so the plan is to be able to grow trout, brook trout. We can get those from a local hatchery for a couple of dollars a fingerling. And if all goes well, we'll be able to run year-round in our greenhouse, and then from there, hopefully go commercial with the whole thing. So yeah, thanks very much for listening, folks. I'll probably throw up a couple more videos over the next couple of months, just talking about what's going on here in the project, how things are going around the farmstead as things grow, as we get the meat chicken flock out where folks can look at it. We've got a composter that we need to rebuild and move. We put it in a really great place, except that it turns out that that great place tends to be surrounded by 3.5 feet of snow. So we're going to move where the composter sits, so that next year it'll be easier to get to. If we have to, we can just run the snowblower to it. Where it currently is, there's just no way to do that. Yeah, so thanks very much for listening, folks. If you got any comments, questions, useful suggestions, that sort of thing, just drop them in the comment section down below. If you like what you've been listening to me babble on about, go ahead and hit the like button. I'd much appreciate that. And stay tuned for a little bit more information on Lake in a Box. Take care.